Good morning, students. Our today's topic is parental care in amphibians. Amphibians, as you know, they are those individuals which spend part of their time in water and part of time on land. So, parental care is a very important phenomena because parental care always increases the chances of survival. So, parental care may be defined as all activities that are directed by the animal towards the protection and maintenance of its offspring or those of near relatives. So, parental care includes attendance of the eggs, transportation of the eggs or the transportation of larvae, and feeding of the larva. So parental care is associated only with those species that place their eggs in single cluster, never with those that scatter their eggs in aquatic situations. So protection first of all by making the nests. So amphibians they build three types of nests. Number one, the first one, that is the mud nest. Example is Hyla faber. It digs small holes in the mud for deposition and development of the eggs. Second is the leaf nest. It is shown by the Philomedusa. Here what happens, the margins of the leaves they are folded and glued together that acts as nest for their eggs. Philomedusa. Now third is the shoot nest. Triton. It constructs the nest by fixing the shoots with the gelatinous secretions. So these are the three types of nests which are formed by the amphibians to protect the young ones, that is mud nest, leaf nest and shoot nest. Now coming to the foam nest, many males in the nest are there to fertilize the eggs. It is in the case of the tree frog. So foam nests are made by some anurans in tropical ponds where oxygen is scarce. So upon fertilization, the female kicks up a froth with her hind leg. The eggs are held in the foam and remain elevated above the surface. The foam protects desiccation and keeps the egg warm by insulation. Then selection of the site by the for the egg laying. In the case of salamandra, the gelatinous bags they are made. So the females they lay their eggs in the gelatinous bags fastened to the aquatic plants. Some amphibians lays their eggs in safe and moist land very near to the water in order to avoid the desiccation. Rhacophorus, for example, in Japan, lays eggs in a hole or muddy banks of river or pond with foamy mucus cover to protect the eggs from drying. Then, in the case of Gynophilus, the eggs are laid under the stones in the streams. Sometimes the eggs are taken up on their body also. In case of Hylodes, the eggs are laid on the undersurface of leaves hanging above the water. So when the tadpole is formed, it just dips into the water ponds. Now coming to the another way how in amphibians the parental care is there. That is, they can coil around the eggs. For example, in the case of Amphiuma ichthyophis, the female, after laying the eggs, guards them by coiling around the egg hatch, then transferring the tadpoles to the water. In the case of Phyllobates species inhabiting in tropical Africa and South America, they hold their newly hatched tadpoles with their mouth and transport them to the water. In the case of salamandra, female carry cluster of eggs glued to their body. In Sri Lankan tree frog, that is Rhacophorus reticulate, the eggs are glued to the belly of the female. A very important example in the case of European frog, elites. Instead of female's parental care, here male entangles the egg around his hind leg and cares. Very interesting example of Suriname toad. In Paipa, the eggs are developed in the pits on the back of the female. During breeding season, the dorsal skin becomes soft, spongy, and vascular. The female releases 60 to 100 eggs, which are fertilized by the male and then embedded in the skin of female's back by the male's movement. After implantation, the egg sinks into the skin and form pockets over the period of several days, eventually taking on the appearance of irregular honeycomb. The larva develops through the tadpole stage inside the pockets and pushing out from the membrane on the mother's back as fully developed frog in Suriname toad. Now another example, classic example, Darwin frog, South American male frog of Rhinoderma darwini keeps fertilized egg in his vocal sac where they undergo complete development. Female lays their eggs on the moist soil, and when the eggs hatch, the males swallow the tadpole and put them in their specialized vocal sac. The tadpole stays there through metamorphosis after 6 weeks and then are released in a series of convulsive movement as miniature frogs. Another example of female parental care. In Hylambetes, the female carries eggs in her buccal cavity. After the eggs are fertilized by the male, the female swallows the eggs. At this time, the female's stomach is normal, secreting HCl and powerful enzyme, which together would normally break down and digest anything in the stomach. But the jelly around the eggs contains a special chemical known as prostaglandin E2, which halts the production of acid and also appears to prevent the stomach from discharging its content further down the gut. This chemical also relaxes the stomach wall, enabling it to thin out and expand to enormous degree. During this time, the female, the mother, does not eat at all. The youngs are nourished by the extra large yolk of the eggs. They are released from the mother as fully formed miniature frogs. Now, in some cases, direct development is there in order to increase the survival value. Some terrestrial tree frogs like Hylodes and Hyla nebulosa, the eggs hatch directly into tiny juvenile, avoiding predator attack and larval motility. A special type of reproductive behavior is observed in Salamandra atra. The eggs are placed inside the uterine cavity where the entire development takes place, and the uterine wall functions physiologically as primitive placenta. Now, in the case of glass frog, which puts his eggs under the leaves. Now the male stays there during the day and night, protecting it of potential predators such as wasps, insects, and other amphibians. The male prevents the desiccation of eggs, producing continuously a gelatinous liquid, which with special glands which are located in the back of the animals. This liquid prevents possible the fungus and the bacterial infections. Now coming to the advantage of the parental care. Parental care is very, very helpful because the proximity of the parents, they provide high humidity. The skins of the parental produces a fungicidal substance. Parent eats the eggs infected by the fungi. Parents deter the predators. Parental care increases the chances of survival of the offspring. So Sincere thanks to www.google.com for providing us beautiful pics so that we can explain our topic well.